and welcome along to the Invincible podcast, brought to you today by NordVPN. We are back in the Tollington pub. We haven't been here for a couple of weeks.
No.
Yeah, but we're back in the Tollington pub. We haven't got a beer today. We're drinking some water. We're being real good.
Bit early, innit?
Bit early for a beer, but a bit of water.
Oh, not as nice.
Last time I had a beer here, man, before, I mean, I was mashed for the rest of the day.
It's really weird. And that is the thing. Do not drink without food.
Yeah.
Because we went straight into it, didn't we? And I felt like funny all day, like I weren't with it.
No, that's how you feel every day.
Oh, right. So that's nice.
But we're down here at the Tollington pub, and remember on match days, one of the best places to come of all the pubs. Great atmosphere in here. Great atmosphere after games as well, especially when we win. Right, so make sure you check it out here, right here on Hornsey Road, between Hornsey Road and the Tollington Road. Brilliant pub. And also don't forget, this video is powered by NordVPN. Now, whenever you're traveling, all you do is you click on your NordVPN and it allows you to pay local rates for flights, for accommodation. It's something that I use all the time when I'm booking flights. I did it when we were going on the American tour. I'm going to use it when I'm booking up all the flights in the Champions League that we're back in, right? So it's very, very handy. Saves you a lot of money. If you want to get a NordVPN, head over to nordvpn.com/AFTV. Click the link in the description below and get 4 months of NordVPN for free. Absolutely nothing with their brilliant 2-year plan. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee, and it's a brilliant thing to have. Thank you very much to NordVPN for powering this video.
Brilliant. I use it. I have to say that.
That's the thing. You know what I mean? It's not even a hard sell.
No.
Because it is good, isn't it?
It is fantastic. And I'll tell you what, when you go like abroad or anything like that, you know, when you go into the hotels and all that, like, and you've got all those channels with foreign TV and all that, and you've got that hour before you go to dinner and all that, like, well, you just put on your NordVPN, watch it, and you can watch Match of the Day, any English TV. It's fantastic like that.
Absolutely essential tool, and it's really good for booking tickets because you can change it so that it doesn't look like you're booking it locally. Because did you know, it's a little hack, right? That say you're booking a flight locally, right? It's cheaper.
Yeah, do you know what?
If you showed like you was booking it from somewhere where that location is, it is actually cheaper.
And do you know what? That is a great point, because I looked at like to go to France at the moment. No, to Seville.
Yeah.
Right, to Seville. Looked at Seville.
Champions League.
£120 to get to Seville. That week that Arsenal were playing there,
550 quid.
£500.
It's crazy.
It is unbelievable. Scandalous.
It is scandalous.
It's scandalous how they can do that.
How can it? Yeah, because that's bumped up like 400%.
It's unbelievable. So you can go this week to Seville, have a very nice time, have a nice few oranges, right, on the cheap. And then when Arsenal are playing in that week, it goes up to £500. It's ridiculous. It's not fair on football fans, I don't think. I don't
think those airlines care, you know what I mean?
Well, I think something should be done about it, like, you know.
Well,
you can't, well, I don't know, you can't go, you know, it costs you £12.50 to go across the street in London now, like, you know what I mean? But that seems all right, and you can, like, they can con you for that.
He's on the moan up already. We haven't started talking about football yet.
I mean, I've got to say, what a boring week, isn't it? Without the Premier League. Listen, it's great. You ain't got the worry about Arsenal and things like that. But come on, that international football, that should be banned.
I enjoyed the Scotland game though. England versus Scotland.
Yeah, that was a decent game. It was a friendly.
Huh?
It was a friendly.
Yeah, it's a friendly, but it had more action to it than the Ukraine game. But actually, our players have done all right on the sort of international break.
Eddie didn't put a foot wrong, did he?
Well, let me get to that in a second. But Tomiyasu's Japan, they beat Germany 4-1, right? Which was a bad night for Kai Havertz and that. But then Kai Havertz in the next game,
he done well.
He had an assist for the goal.
Yeah,
and they beat France 2-1.
Yeah,
right. So and of course Declan Rice. You know, over the 2 games, he did all right. Zinchenko scored.
Yeah.
For the Ukraine, you know, Gabriel Jesus and Gabriel played for Brazil in their victories. So all in all, it's been Aaron Ramsdale, I thought did really well in goal. England definitely passed the ball out from the back better when he was there, so that was another positive. And the one thing, like you said, is what was the point in Gareth Southgate taking Eddie Nketiah on that tour, taking him to those 2 games and not playing him, not even 1 minute. Now, the thing that annoyed me the other day, right, is that they took Harry Kane off, right, in that game, and they bring on Callum Wilson.
Yeah.
He already knows what Callum Wilson can do. He already knows Callum Wilson's been in several England teams played. Why didn't he bring Eddie on then? I don't know. What was the point in bringing Eddie Nketiah on? Eddie could have stayed at London Coney and been practicing with the Arsenal team over that period.
Yeah, listen, I get him playing a strong side against Scotland because it's England.
Yeah, but they're
Scotland.
3-1 up.
They're 3-1 up. He's took Bayern Munich's Harry Kane off, right?
Yeah.
So you look at Wilson. Yeah, he needs time and everything like. But you know what he's going to do. He's keeping on Declan Rice. And Kyle Walker, I'm going to bring that up as well. Declan Rice, Kyle Walker have got Champions League football coming up, right, next week. Yeah, they're the 2 ones. I agree. Bellingham and Bayern Munich's Harry Kane should be left, as well, But what I'm saying is, he kept them 2 on the whole time. I'm absolutely fuming when I'm seeing that. For a friendly 90 minutes, knowing what they can do anyway.
He brought Saka on as well.
He brought Saka on, who reportedly 100%. I think have we done something to Southgate over the years? Has he got so many stuffings against Arsenal that he just hates us so much? I'll tell you what, Eddie would be on having a nice little rest and break. No, I'll get him training, I'll get him picking up the bibs and doing all that for us, I don't know what's going on.
To be fair, it's good to have Arsenal players in that England setup and to have our players playing internationally.
Yeah, it is, but he's beginning to wind me up, Robbie. He really is,
Maguire, Well, he had a hard time in that game.
He's having a go at us fans, telling us, as far as I'm concerned, as a football fan, as an England fan, right? I think that if you're playing for England, it should be deserved, merited. Because it's the biggest honour you can have, And there you've got him playing, and then nothing against Harry Maguire. I don't think it's a bad fit. I'm not saying that he's a bad player or whatever your feelings are. He is not playing any shape or form of football at this moment in time. So how can you say that he's playing good and then turn around and go like someone like Ben White or Ward-Prowse at West Ham? They're not getting in because Calvin Phillips is in the same boat. He's
even worse. He's not played a minute.
Not played any sort of time.
And it's true. Ben White should be in that squad. Come on. It's
not for footballing reasons. It's for there's something's gone on there.
Something's gone on
because he turns around and says. Well, Harry Maguire hasn't let England down. I get that.
No, he has. He let England down the other night. But he's let England down in the last few games. He's made a lot of mistakes.
But
listen. Overall, I get that. Overall, in the big tournaments and that, he's done all right.
What about Sterling then?
Right, exactly. But right now, the guy's not even playing for his club. He's deemed not good enough to play for Manchester United, right? So why is he in that England squad?
And you've got players like Sterling that are playing really well, and they're not.
But you've got players like Ben White that's playing really well, right? And that excuse he made about Ben White doesn't play as a centre back for his club is absolutely ridiculous, right? Because Tomiyasu doesn't play for a centre back for the club, but that's where he played for Japan, and they beat Germany 4-1.
Kieran Trippier doesn't play right back.
Exactly.
But he's playing left back for England.
Exactly.
Maddison doesn't play wide left for Tottenham. He plays inside in the middle, playing wide left. At the expense of Rashford.
Yeah.
By the way, who's only had 90 minutes football, where Declan Rice has played for 2. I'm sorry, it's just too many
that Maguire situation at the moment, I don't know.
Down to Southgate.
I don't know what we're talking about Maguire so much as a Man United player, but that Maguire situation, like you said, is down to Gareth Southgate because he should not be picked right now. So he's put unnecessary pressure on the player, right? Because now the player's coming in and people are mocking him and stuff like that. And actually, it's both of them. I blame both of them. I blame Southgate for picking up. I also blame Maguire. He could have got a move from Man United, right? Where he could have went to West Ham. I think that would have suited him perfectly.
And then that argument goes away.
He's been playing football. He could have then started playing well, getting himself back in, and then all of a sudden that argument's redundant. People are like, actually, Maguire's playing well for his club. He deserves to be playing for England. Yeah. And then there's nobody mocking him anymore. But at the moment, when you're not playing for your club, and then you're getting in the England team, and then you're coming in and you're making errors, right? Yes, you are going to get mocked. So, you know, both for their faults, man.
And you know, like the Arsenal-Man United game, have you ever been to the Emirates when they've been singing an opposition's name?
Yeah,
I've never seen that before.
That was unbelievable.
Oh,
the cheer that he got when he came on.
It was crazy. It's crazy.
But that's down to the situation that's going on at the moment with Maguire at Manchester United. He's not getting played. He should have left United. It's his own fault in a way. I think right. I was looking at it, I was like, Harry Maguire went to West Ham, right? You got Ward-Prowse there whipping in those corners and things like that. He would have done all right.
Yeah.
And David Moyes' style of football would have suited him.
Yeah.
So anyway, listen. Both of them, man. I don't really, you know what I mean? That's down to them, right? But the one thing we do know is the international break is now over and we can concentrate now back on the Premier League. Of course, there's more, there's more international breaks coming up, but there's a load of games now coming up. And the first one starts this weekend, Sunday, 4:30 kickoff against Everton away from home. If it's at home, normally, it's just like a standard 3 points when we play them at home. Away from home, I don't know what it's about this club, Everton, right? But we just have got a horrendous record. Our record that we got there is comparable in recent times to when we've gone to the Etihad and when we've gone to Anfield. Those places, even when we've been going to Tottenham, right? Even though we got the victory at Tottenham last year, that record at Everton has been comparable to those places, right? We lost there last year, 1-0. Remember, it was the Tchaikovsky header, right? They actually deserved it. I remember they played very well that day. They deserved to. We were so lackluster. We lost there the year before that.
Yeah.
Remember that? That was the year I got COVID after that game. We lost there that game. The year before that, we lost. As a matter of fact, the last 5 occasions we've been to Goodison Park, we've drawn 1 and lost 4. Why? Why? Why at Goodison Park? Against a team.
0-0 and I'm going to draw on it if I remember right.
Yeah. And we'll go there and Everton will be on their knees. Last year, Everton were on there, they were going for a tough time, but they did get that new manager in it. They just brought Sean Dyche in. It's his first game, so they got a bit of a new manager bounce, right? But what is it about this game against Everton? Because you look at it, it's all stacked for us, even this game, right? They've lost... Everton so far this season, they haven't won a game yet.
Yeah.
They've played 4 games, they've drawn 1, they've lost 3. They've lost 2 games at home. The 2 games they played at home, they've lost. You're looking on it, I think they lost to Villa, they lost to Wolves. You're looking on it and you're thinking, come on, man. This is the time, this is light work. However, it's Goodison for us. Yeah. What is it about Goodison Park where we just can't get over the line? What's going on?
I don't know. I have to say, last season's one was very, very disappointing for me, because we just did not turn up on the day.
Terrible.
Didn't play, and I think you have to give Sean Dyche credit. He looked at probably like our weakest part of our game and exploited it. You know what I mean? With long balls into the centre forward, Calvert-Lewin, who after that game got injured and never be seen again, but he caused us all sorts of problems, and they always look dangerous from set pieces, so we're going to have to defend all of them really well. I just felt we was lacklustre on the day. I done me nut coming out of there. Do you remember, I weren't happy about it, because I didn't, it was the way we lost that game, and I think and
we were on good form going into that game.
We was on very, very good form, and when you look at that game, that was one of the games where I felt
costly game. But
it was also one of those games where you just think to yourself, well, we never turned up. We deserve to lose. We deserve to lose that game. There's other games when you give it a go and you think, well, I've been a little bit unlucky.
But why there? Because again, leading up to that game, we were on good form, especially away from home.
Yeah,
and then we go there and we don't turn up. Why?
I just think it's one of those games. I just think that it was a little reminder that there is a vulnerability at Arsenal. If you're not on your game, if you go to Everton, if those Arsenal players go to Everton now thinking that it's going to be easy, they think that they're going to roll them over because where they are on the league, they will come unstuck. It's one of those places you've got to go there, whether they're top of the league, middle of the league, bottom of the league. You have to go there with the right mentality, the right 100% right focused at it, and you'll get the result. But if you're off of it, they're a team that can exploit you and take it, like, you know, and because they've got that mentality, they've got that, you know, whether it be Sean Dyche or whatever, like, you know, they've got that thing about them where they will work hard. The fans get behind. I always think that with Goodison Park and their fans, you know, I've got a soft spot for Everton and everything like that, so I'm not speaking out of turn and all that. I think their fans are really up for it, but they're vulnerable. If you can stop, you know, get a goal for real, and they can turn very, very quickly.
Yeah,
they can
and remember, they're not in a good place right now.
No.
Because, you know, as I said, they haven't won a game this season.
No. So you don't give them that encouragement. Like, if you give them the encouragement, like I think we did last season, they're up for it and they will go with it. They ride the wave. They will ride the wave of what the team. But if you simmer that down, I've been at Everton when it's like really mad because it's one of those stadiums and all that, and by the end of it, it's silent.
Yeah.
Because that is what Arsenal have got to do. Don't give them any encouragement whatsoever, like, you know. And I think over the last couple of years we have, and then they ride that wave. And that's why I think it's a problem. It's one of those grounds also, like, you know, I think I was talking to a couple of Everton people yesterday. It's supposed to be the last time. It might not be, mightn't it, because of the building and all that. It's one of those old grounds, which is a sad thing for me because we're, you know, like, all these grounds now are sort of going, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's one of the few that's still very much not changed that much over the years. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
surrounded by houses, like old school ground.
Oh, it should be a shame when it goes.
It will be, because it is a unique ground.
There's something special about Everton because of that. Like, you know, it's like in the middle of an estate, isn't it? Really, like,
it's like in the middle. It's like in the middle of, like, it's surrounded by houses.
Yeah. It's just in the middle of an estate. I don't know what the estate is, but like, it's just in the middle of it. All houses all around it.
Yeah.
And it's a proper old school ground. There's no two steeps in history. You know, you've got the church on the one side there. Yeah. You know, the famous Winslow pub there as well, like, you know, and then you go round to the away end. It's not the most hospitality, you know, hospital, you know, like ways and all that, like, and then, you know, you come out, you've got the park and everything like that, you know, so it's an iconic ground, and it's a shame that it's going, but, you know,
well, I don't know, man. Not with our record there, man. Maybe
no. Maybe we know. Maybe we like all these nice posh places. You know what I mean? So, but you got to get your hands dirty at places like Everton.
This is a massive opportunity for Arsenal to come back after an international break and get 3 points. You know what I mean? Forgetting our record there, Everton right now are in a really bad place. They've only got 1 point this season. As I said, they've lost 3 games. Right, their last game draw against Sheffield United. They didn't really do much in the transfer window, although they did bring in that Beto, who looked decent. He looked at Anfield, really put himself about. But surely, if you're Mikel Arteta, you've got to be targeting 3 points in this game. I mean, you know, when you look at the two teams player for player, you know, they've even lost a player. I mean, I was shocked that they got rid of Iwobi.
Yeah.
Iwobi's gone to Fulham. You know what I mean? Who's probably one of their best, if not their best player.
One of their best players,
yeah. You know what I mean? He's gone, you know. Damari Gray, who's a guy who can pop up with big goals and that. And
causes problems.
He's gone. Right? I remember him scoring against us.
Wonder goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, that wonder goal. Yeah, he's gone. So, come on. This is a huge opportunity for Arsenal to go out there and get all 3 points, isn't it?
And Rob, this is unbelievable. A massive week for Arsenal. Massive week. I don't know what Mikel Arteta is going to do this week, because you've got 3 games. You've got this one, then PSV, and then you've got Tottenham. Yeah. And I feel that he's got to rotate somewhere along the line. When do you do that? Certainly not Spurs, you know, so it's going to either be PSV or this one. So on the back of the international break, I can see Arsenal over these next 2 games making a few changes. And this is where the problem lies then, like, you know.
Well, we've got a good squad.
We have, but this is when this is where I think Mikel's got to be really at his best, because he's going to have to chop and change. You can't keep playing that same. You know, there's that old people go, just play your best team. But if you carry on playing your same 11 every week, it's going to it's going to tire. So there needs to be 1 or 2 changes every couple of games now. And I think that, for me, I'll be very interested to see what the team will be. Very interested to see what the team will be on Wednesday, because I do think there's going to be some sort of rotation, and that is where he's got to measure. Because like last season, 6, 7, 8 changes in the Europa League, and we still got
kids in that.
Yeah, can't do that now.
Yeah,
can't do that now. So it'd be very, very interesting how he's going to go about that. And
well, certainly, I feel that he has to have a very good side out against Everton. Last year, I remember they overpowered us in midfield. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They had like Anana, Decore, you know what I mean? And they were just like, they were full of energy, full of running, and they overpowered us in midfield, and they'd win the ball up high up the pitch. They really sort of, pressed us. And they played a really, really excellent game, and they were working it, trying to get the set pieces, which they eventually got, and they got their goal from it. But I feel this year that midfield, we've got to win that midfield battle. This is where a player like Declan Rice is very important. Obviously, no Thomas Partey, he's out injured, but Declan Rice is going to be really important in there. We know Odegaard, who is another player who for Arsenal, who scored for his country. So he had a good time of it for his country as well, Norway, during the international break. He'll be back. The one I want to ask you about is who else. It's going to be them two in midfield, right?
Yeah.
Who else joins them in that midfield, right? Do you go for Kai Havertz? Do you maybe think about bringing in Fabio Vieira? Would you put in Jorginho in there to, as a sort of a double pivot, sort of holding midfielder type? Smith Rowe, is it time to bring him in? There are options.
There are options.
It's not like when on normal occasions Thomas Partey's out and we're like, oh my God, right? There are options. Who would fill that spot for you? Me and James were discussing this. Who would fill that spot for you?
I wouldn't be against putting Jorginho in there and playing Jorginho, Declan Rice, if I'll be honest. I wouldn't, and then maybe Odegaard.
Is that a bit too defensive?
No, I don't think it would be, because I think that that gives more of a licence for Declan Rice to go wherever he wants. Or you play Kai Havertz in there, who's big and strong,
even after the time he's been having.
Listen, I think it's time now for everybody to just get off his back him for these next 2 games, because I think that Kai Havertz will play on Sunday, and I feel that he'll play against PSV as well, so I think he's got 2 games now to get his form right, because you can't be messing about with players out of form or not in form when you go against Spurs. So I think these next 2 games are vital for him. I think that he'll start him. I think that maybe Jorginho will come in against PSV, I don't know, and maybe give Declan Rice a little break in that game, I don't know. But I think Kai Havertz will play and score. There you go.
Okay, right. And another one I've got for you, and I'm not going to say, I'm deliberately not saying who I'd have in there, because we did a starting 11,
right?
Predicted 11 up at Goodison. Right, so I want you guys to watch that, and you'll be able to find out who I've gone for. But here's another one for you, up front. So I presume Saka, yeah?
I think there'd be a change up there, right?
So who you go, Saka?
I'm going to go Saka,
right.
Trossard, and Eddie.
Oh, so you wouldn't go with Martinelli?
No, because we've been just back from America. Because I think that you've got to look to rotate in these couple of games.
Oh, by the way, Trossard scored for his country as well. For Belgium as well.
I think you've got to be changed. I think come PSV.
Hey, hold on a minute. Ain't you the guy? Too much chopping and changing. Don't, if it's not broke, don't change it and all that. Weren't that you?
Look,
what's with all these changes, man?
Defensively, I don't think you should be doing that. I just think you've got 3 massive games coming up this week. And when you're playing one game one week like we have in the first few weeks, weren't really no necessary to change. I think that there must be if you, in an ideal world, you wouldn't change it. But all right, so if he plays Martinelli,
so Trossard and Eddie,
I would say, no, maybe not. But maybe this game, right? Martinelli, Eddie and Saka. In the next game, I think Trossard will come in.
Ooh, my selection's different.
Right.
You guys have to watch that predicted 11.
I'm going with Eddie, and I'll tell you why. Because I think I'm looking for Jesus to play in the Champions League and Spurs. Right. And I think that this is more of a physical game. And I also think that if it's tight with 20 minutes to go, no one better, as it proved against Man United, to bring on Jesus to do what he done. So for me, Eddie starts this game, and then the next 2 games, I would play Jesus.
What's your back four?
For this game, I'm going to go. I've got a little surprise for you in this, like you know what I mean. So I'm going to go Ben White.
Yeah, right back.
Right back. 2 central defence of Saliba and Gabriel. Yeah. And I'm playing Tomiyasu in this game. As left back. Reason because of the height thing and everything like that defensively. So I want a sound defensive back 4 against Everton.
Who's in goal?
England's number 1.
All right. So let me see your changes. So Tomiyasu.
That's it.
Hold on, no. Tomiyasu. You've also brought in Jorginho. Eddie.
That's it. No, I've changed my mind.
You're making a lot of changes.
No. You know, in an ideal world, you can't gamble.
The team come on.
You can't gamble.
Don't change it. It's not.
I'm going Rice. I'm going to say he's going to play Kai Havertz. So I'm going to go Rice, Kai Havertz, Odegaard. Right. If there is a change in there, this is my thing. I think Mikel might leave out Odegaard and play
Odegaard.
I think he might. I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't. He's played a couple of games for Norway, right?
So?
Yeah, but I'm just thinking of these 3 games coming up.
Listen, right, it's early in the season.
When are these players going to get a rest?
It's early in the rest. The season just started.
Yeah, but
they've only played 4 games.
Bloody playing all these internationals.
Well, they only played 4 games, man. Relax, man. Listen, for me,
go on in.
I'm not going to reveal up all my.
Would you make any changes?
I'll tell you what I will reveal.
Would you agree with my back 4 then, or are you going to play Shinchenko?
Watch that video. But what I'm going to reveal my 3 up front, right? My 3 up front is Martinelli, who was brilliant in the last game.
Yes, outstanding.
Right? Saka, who, despite some people saying, he ain't really been himself, he's been a bit off form, it was his corner that Declan Rice scored from.
Yes.
It's his delivery, brilliant delivery to the back, right? He always has an effect on games. He's got to play. And down the middle, I'm starting Jesus. He looks sharp when the 2 times he's come on, he's looked really, really sharp. And my reasons for starting him is I just think Everton, they're going to do what Everton do. They're going to be quite deep. They're going to have a lot of players behind the ball. I think you need a bit of trickery to unlock that Everton team, you know what I mean? There's not going to be that space for Eddie and Nketiah in behind. That's why I wouldn't play him in this particular game. I would go with Jesus. And then also, like, this is it now where, you know, you're making good points about the amount of games and that coming up. This is it now where the squad comes into play. When 100%. People were moaning at the start of the season, you know, when's he going to play and when's he going to play? Well, they're going to get loads of games now because, like you said, Champions League against PSV. For me, we have to go strong in that game. We have to go very strong because you want to get off. You don't want to get off to a losing start in the Champions League, and you most certainly want to win your home games. So I feel that game is as important as the Tottenham game. So you've got to go strong for that game, and then you don't think so?
More important than that.
Well, listen, it's for fans.
Nothing's more important than that.
Yeah, all right, I get that. Nothing's more important than the Tottenham game just because it's Tottenham and we want to smash them and stuff like that. But as games just going by that Champions League game is a very important. This is like you said. This is the difference between this year and last year. And we could have said, Ethan Wanera, you go and warm up. You're playing. You know, you can't do that against your PSVs and teams like that. You got to go with a really, really strong team, as strong as what you go against Tottenham, because it's such an important game. It's your first home game in the Champions League. We've been out of it for a long time. I feel that's supposed to be a very, very strong side. And then, of course, against Tottenham, you have to go strong.
Of course, and the thing with Tottenham is that when we play in PSV, that, you know, all their fans and players will be watching EastEnders and Coronation Street and Emmerdale.
Yeah.
They won't be involved in. They'll have a nice feet up and resting.
But you know what, as well, right? I want that as well. I think this is a mentality that used to exist a lot during Arsene Wenger's role. I think this was one of my things I used to find, of all the great things he did, this was a bit of a flaw I used to think. He always used to be talking about players needing a rest, too much games, but right? If you're in the Champions League, we've been craving this, getting back into this Champions League. If we're back in this Champions League now, I want my players being completely up for that and the game at the weekends. They should be able to play those 3 games.
Yeah, they've got to be. They've got to.
You know,
be
they should be able to play those 3 games. You know what I mean? So, and as we said, we've got a very good squad. When we looked at the bench the other day, we were all sort of like, hey, got loads of options off of that bench. You know, and this is where your Trossards, like you said, will get games. I want to see Emil Smith-Rowe starting to come into play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fabio Vieira.
Yeah, they'll all get some sort of minutes.
And Havertz, I think, with Havertz, maybe we might see him coming into the fore a bit more in the Champions League, because I kind of feel that he's kind of been bought with the Champions League in mind.
Yeah.
In that he's got experience of playing in that, and then also he's a player that's versatile, that can play in various different positions.
That's a very good point. Good point.
So I think that could be, you know. But interesting with you saying Tomiyasu at the back, that's a good shout. I mean, Zinchenko gives you that attacking thing, but I guess he's not as a solid a defender as
and then they've got 2 home games which I would play Zinchenko against PSV, and I'm just worried about his fitness side of it at the moment. That's why I would go down that route, because
didn't have a pre-season, did he?
Yeah. So I want him available. He's had 2 games for Ukraine. He's done about 70 minutes in both. What I like him now is have a nice rest. If things are not going well, we need an attacking option. Bring him on, and then PSV and Spurs, he's in there, like, you know. I think that says, you make a very good point there about Champions League experience. We haven't got that many players with that Champions League experience.
Even Jorginho.
Yeah. So have they been brought in? You know, obviously like Zinchenko's got that, and Jesus, but that's it. That's
You've got Declan Rice, who's got experience of lifting a European trophy. That's going to set him in good stead.
Yeah,
but he's never played in the Champions League before.
No. I think that's a little bit different conference
Saka's
level.
never. I know. But
So
Saka's never played in the Champions League. Nor has Martinelli. All those. They must be absolutely buzzing for it, though. They must be absolutely buzzing, especially somebody like Saka that's been bigged up and everything. And really and truly, like somebody like Saka, I just find that it should be easy for him, because he does play. Declan Rice are international players that play at international level, that have played at World Cup and got to a semi-final, played at Euros and got to a final. So they should be up for this.
Well, 100%. I think that they will be. I think, and this is the worry, and I'm a little bit worried about the Everton game, because are they all thinking that, I've got Champions League on Wednesday, we haven't played it, want to play it. You know, the first and foremost is Everton. We've got to deal with that. And then, you know, I'm pretty sure that they'll all be focused very, 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 very much, which could be a good thing, Robbie. Looking at it, you ain't like worrying about playing Tottenham at the weekend, because you know you've got to concentrate on a big game on the Wednesday. You know, like in the last particularly last season, we lost a little bit of form before we played Man City, because we was thinking, I've got Man City in a couple of weeks. You think about it now, we ain't got that. Like, you know, we got to play Bournemouth, then we go to Lons, and then we got Man City. So these games coming thick and fast. Maybe a good thing for us.
Yeah, and also you can have the fact that you could play a game during the week, you know, like against PSV, get a really good win, and that just lifts your confidence up again going into the game against Spurs. I'll tell you one thing as well that has been really good about our Champions League draw, right? Not just that it's, you know, come on, it's a decent group for us, but also we've got, like, you know, after every one of our games that we play at the Emirates, right, we got a home game. You know, every game that we play, we've got a home game in the Champions League.
What? So
So Champions League this week, got a home game, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's no Champions League game next week.
We've
if
got
I'm
Brentford.
right. Let me just double check that as I say that. But I'm sure
Yeah,
I saw
we've
that
got
the other
Brentford,
day.
and then we got Lons, and then we've got Manchester City at home.
Yeah.
So like yeah. So I know what you're saying.
So that way's kind of worked out for us.
So after every European game, we've got.
yeah. So after so.
That's
Apart from this one, right? So obviously we're away to Everton.
yeah,
Then
but the Champions League comes
yeah,
next, isn't it?
yeah.
So the next game after that's
next
Tottenham at
game,
home.
Tottenham at home. Then the next one we got
Lons. Is it Lons? Yeah. Then
we'll play Lons away,
and then we're at home to
but
City.
then we're at home to City. Then after that, then we go away to Sevilla. That's in the 24th of October. Then we're home to Sheffield United, right? And then we play Sevilla at home, so then back-to-back one, and then we're at home to Burnley. And then the last one is we play Lons at home, then we're at home to Wolves.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
So
and then we got PSV away, but then we're at home to Brighton after that.
Ooh,
so like every single one of them in our group stages.
that's
that anomaly's worked out good for us. We've got
do you remember, that is. I remember. Do you remember? We played Galatasaray one year on a Wednesday, and then we had to go to Fulham away on the Saturday morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and you think, wow, you know what I mean?
Some of those in the past we've had like Shakhtar.
Yeah, and then like,
you know what I mean?
And then you got to play Saturday morning.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? So that's worked out
that
really,
has
really
worked
well.
out after every single game, every single Champions League game is followed by a home
Champions
game.
League, I'd say that's a great point because I didn't know that. Champions League has done us some favours, like the thing. Because I also think, don't forget, this game was meant to be a Saturday.
Yeah.
Against Everton. So like you think all the international players, we've got an extra day now.
Yeah.
To prepare for this game, which I think helps.
Yep.
And then you've got like Sunday, then you don't play till Wednesday and then Sunday. So it's a nice little few days in between both games. I think you know,
and as I said, you know what I mean, like I've seen City do that before, where on many occasions where during the week they've smashed up a team and then they just got you kind of, if you remember like when they started going on that great run in the Premier League, they were battering teams in the Champions League, then they come on the weekend and just continue that on. So we've got to take that, we got to get it out of our head, the players, this thing about tired. Oh, this, so you know, we got to rest up the whole team because this is going to be tired. And I really want the players to embrace this Champions League, to embrace the games. We haven't been in it for 7 years. Let's embrace it. Let's look forward to every single Champions League game, and then we got a home game after every single one.
I didn't realise that, and I think that's a key thing, because I think that that's good.
Yeah,
I think that's really, really positive that on the back of a difficult European night, whether it be travelling, playing, mentally, physically, or whatever, then to come back at home, you ain't got to travel. Do you know what I mean? Like, so for instance, I know it sounds silly, but if you're playing on a Wednesday night, you get home, then on the Friday you're packing your bags to travel away to Manchester or Liverpool, having another night in a hotel, they're staying in the same house at the same. I think that's been very nice. Thank you, the UEFA for that. Like, thank you very much.
It's worked out, man. We've got no excuses, you know what I mean? But we've got to start off by beating Everton, and as I said, tough game, and they'll bring the physicality, they'll bring the passion. But I just still see this as a great opportunity. You said it earlier, silence that crowd. Yeah. Get at them early. I do not want to see a lackluster Arsenal like what we've seen over the past few seasons when we've gone to Goodison Park. And it must really frustrate the life out of Mikel Arteta, especially as a manager who used to play for Everton. He played for both clubs, right? It must be very frustrating to see him go up to Everton, have the talent we've got, and just be passive.
Yeah, and do you remember we actually we was 1-0 up there one year, weren't we? And I think it was in a documentary as well. He done that. He come in at half time and he said, like, if you don't get on your game here, we will lose this game. If you don't get on it,
Yeah, he lost it. Yeah.
I mean, he was saying everything that I was seeing as well.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought, right, yes, well done, Mikel. That was, that's where that documentary come good. It come back and they carried on the same sort of form.
And they lost.
And he come back in and he tore into them and saying, I told you what was going to happen and all that. Like, I think that was a pivotal moment. Like, all right, I felt he probably done exactly the same again. I don't think that he's going to tolerate it again.
We can't be giving Everton all these free hits, right? This is the time we've got to go up there and we've got to really, as they say, twist the knife, man. We've got to step on their neck, you know what I mean? They're in a bad place at the moment, Everton. Sean Dyche, who last year came in, new manager bounce, all of a sudden Sean Dyche under a lot of pressure. There's a lot of Everton fans sort of saying, I don't know, man. You know what I mean?
I think that's harsh.
He's under a lot of pressure. Listen, do you know what, right? Remember, they just...
sell players, isn't he? And
yeah, but they just survived the league by the skin of their teeth, remember? Yeah? That win against us was one of the few wins that they had, right? So they just survived. They didn't finish the season very well at all, right? And then they've started this season badly, but they're a weird side, man. I remember last year, I can't remember if they got battered, and then they went away to Brighton and beat them about 4.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you're not on it, like you said, against them,
and they've got forwards now that are a little bit more dangerous than if Calvert-Lewin's fit, and they've got this Beto now, that gives them a different.
Yeah,
they'd be different. I've always looked at Everton. And they were toothless, weren't they, against Doncaster? I remember they nearly went out against them. They 1-0 down. That Beto come on and done it. But they've now got a couple of little players up there that can cause problems. I honestly think Everton are going to be fine, and I don't think Sean Dyche will be under any pressure at the end of the season. I think that there's.
I don't know, man.
But
I don't know. They've started badly.
They've got some decent players.
They've lost 2 home games.
Yeah, well, hopefully it'll be 3.
Hopefully it'll be 3. So that's what I mean. So if you're an Everton fan and you've lost your first, let's say God willing, we do win, inshallah, right? We do win, right? That would be 3 home defeats out of your first 5 games. And even the away games, one of those against Sheffield United, a newly promoted team, he didn't win that. It's starting to look peak. It's starting to look rough for them, you know what I mean? He will be under big pressure. This is where we got to go there and sort of really turn it on, I feel. You know what I mean? And let's be real, Arsenal haven't hit the big heights yet. However, I think that victory over Manchester United was a real... That could be a little sort of turning point moment for the season, because that was,
I'll be really honest, Rob, right? I'll be really honest. If there weren't an international break, forget about the international break. We beat Man United. I had no worries about going to Everton the following week. I think the crest of the good feeling factor, but it's sort of subsided a little bit because we haven't played for bloody 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like, well, that's done now. Reset and go again, like, you know what I mean? And that's what worries me a little bit in this game. It worries me a little bit in this game.
Yeah. It's to be worried about. But listen, if Arsenal have got aspirations of winning the league, I feel after 4 defeats from our last 5 visits to Goodison Park, it's not good enough. We have to go there and get a win.
Yeah.
Victory is needed this weekend, especially leading into that game against Spurs.
Yeah,
what are we going in at on?
Well, they've got a gimme, haven't they, at the weekend?
What they got?
They've got Sheffield United at home, so that's
there. You go. So they're
going to be. If we beat Everton, whatever happens, we'll be on the same points as them. But obviously, if we don't beat them, they're going to be points in front of us. So going into that game makes it Tottenham will come to the Emirates unbeaten. Hopefully, when we play them, we'll be unbeaten as well. So it's this time next week we'll be bloody nervous, won't we? But I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to this week. I know it's saying like it's the first time.
I'm looking forward to it.
The whole season, since the season started, we've now got 7 days. We've got 3 games. Bring them on,
Bring them on, man.
This is what you want as a fan.
And they're big games. They're all big games.
This is what you want. Yeah,
this is what we wanted, man. This is why we wanted to be back in the Champions League and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly that. And we've had that thing where playing just at the weekends and nothing to look forward to. We've got like, as soon as that game's finished Sunday, we've got the buzz to look forward to the Wednesday. As soon as that game's finished on the Wednesday, we've got the buzz for the Sunday.
Yeah.
Then we've got Brentford, and we've got up until to the international break now. Every week, midweek, we've got a game. Great, isn't it?
Great, it's brilliant. Before we go there, I've got to get your prediction for Sunday.
Well, I'm going to go.
Give me your prediction for Sunday, and actually give me a prediction for the PSV game as well.
We've got 2 games. So I'm going to go for. I've had to go for on the Forever Arsenal 3-0 because a couple of guys have gone for 2-0, and I need the points. So I went 3-0, but I think that might be a goal too far. So 2-0 for me. I think that they'll do that. Yeah. And I think against PSV, I think 2-1. I think that
I'm going to go 3-1 against PSV. I think that's going to be an occasion. I can't wait for that, by the way. I can't wait to just hear that.
You're going to get in there early for the music.
I feel I'm getting there early. I want to hear that Champions League music blurting out. I want to soak up the occasion. It's weird, right? Because it's something that we used to be
take for granted, didn't we?
Take for granted. We were in it for 20 years straight and take it for granted, and now I've just so missed it. And I cannot wait to hear that Champions League music playing out.
Champions League banners all around the ground.
And the atmosphere in that place is going to be absolutely buzzing for that game. It's going to be electric.
The next 2 games are going to be buzzing, aren't they, at home?
And like you said, this is what we want. We want these big games, and we got them.
Yeah.
We got them. We're back in the big league, man. So, now looking forward to those. And the Everton game, I think I'm going with you 2-0. I'm going with you 2-0 as well. But looking forward to those games. Don't forget to download NordVPN. As I said earlier, you can get a great discount. All you got to do is download and use NordVPN/AFTV, right? And big discounts for you. Thank you very much for NordVPN for powering this video. And we're looking forward to the games coming up. As I said, huge game this weekend against Everton. We need to go there and put that right. It's about time. Come on. I mean, it's not Man City. It's not. Come on, we got to go there and put this right, Arsenal, right? And then PSV during the week as well, Champions League, and then next week the big one. We'll be doing a big preview around that. Don't you worry about that. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week. Also, thanks to the guys in the Tollington as well. We'll be back next week. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.